Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, but before we get started, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So now that we got that out of the way, let's jump right into today's video, which is going to be a Week 2 DraftKings lineup for you guys. Didn't do so hot last week, but I'm hoping to bounce back in Week 2. Let's get this thing rolling. All right, so at the quarterback position, I'm going to go with Phillip Rivers. He had a pretty solid week last week. He is going up against the Detroit Lions at $6,100. That's pretty good value, as you can see. 24th ranked opponent's ranking, so Detroit's defense hasn't been all that great. I'm going to add him to the mix. He averages 27.9 fantasy points per game. Now moving on to running back, I am going to stick with the Los Angeles Chargers. That's still not used to that. And I am going to go with Eckler, who he had another solid week in week 1. If you look, last game, he had a touchdown and 2 receiving touchdowns. He had 39 fantasy points. I think he has another big week, so we're going to add him to the mix. Moving right along, you have Alvin Kamara. The Los Angeles Rams are 18th, so on the weaker side, obviously. 23.9 fantasy points per game. I expect him to be involved in the rushing game and the passing game, so I'm all over Alvin Kamara this week. Add him. He's pretty much, I would love to add him every week, but he has a huge cap hit, as you can see, 8,200. Moving along, we're going to go to wide receiver now, and the first one that I'm going to add is Amari Cooper. I think Dallas's offense looked very solid in week 1 against the Giants. The Redskins are also a team that's going to struggle, so I think that he has another big week. He is definitely worth that $7,400 cap hit. For my second wide receiver, I am also going to add Gordon. I think he is going to have a solid week for the New England Patriots as they are going up against the dumpster fire that is the Miami Dolphins. I think they put up a ton of points. I think they cover their crazy spread. I think Josh Gordon has himself a big week. I am adding him for a pretty good value at $5,800. For my third wide receiver, we know that there's going to be no Tyreek Hill, so I'm going to add Sammy Watkins in the mix. I'm going to put him in. And that's a pretty solid wide receiver core. He had a huge week last week, and as the number 1 receiver, he's going to get a ton of targets against that Oakland defense. Moving on to tight end, I'm going with a little bit of a value pick. I am going to go with Hawkinson at $3,000. He had a huge week last week. If we click on him here, he had 131 yards and a touchdown. I think they're going to rely on him a lot this year. So I am going to select him, add him to the mix, and now I have 6,200 remaining for my flex and my defense. So in the flex, I am going to go with another value pick, Adrian Peterson. He is going to be the lead back this week. And if the Washington Redskins are going to want to win this game, they got to play keep away from the Dallas Cowboys. I think that he is going to be the most involved in the offense for the running back. So I think that's my one risk at 3,400. I'm willing to go that low with the rest, so we're going to add him in as well. And now on the defensive side of the ball, I have 2,800 to work with, so I'm going to scroll down past all these guys and go with the Denver Broncos. They're playing the Chicago Bears this week. They looked absolutely awful offensively. So for me, I think that this defense led by Vic Fangio, who was just in Chicago last year, is going to have a really solid week. This is a home game for Denver. We know Denver is a tough place to play. Mitch Trubisky did not look good in week 1. I think that continues this time on the road against his team's former defensive coordinator. They have a lot to play for. That defense has a lot to play for. Didn't look good against Oakland, but I think they rebound against Chicago and put up a pretty good performance. So to recap, I'm going to go with Rivers as my quarterback, Eckler, Kamara as my 2 running backs, Cooper, Gordon, Watkins as the wide receiver trio. Hawkinson, I'm banking on him having a really solid week again. Peterson in the flex. These are my two value picks in Hawkinson and Peterson, and then the Broncos defense. We're going to enter that in for my $3 pool. Hopefully I do better this week. Let me know what you think. Who are you drafting in your DraftKings lineup? Let me know. If you like the video, please subscribe. More Jets content coming at you soon. Take care. I'll talk to you next time.